Welcome to the Canoga Park Youth Arts Center's new series, Inspired by Spring, where each class will look at a different thing that makes spring spring. And today we're going into our backyard gardens. So, this is what we're going to be doing today. This is a backyard. I'm going to teach you how to do the perspective, because the stuff here is farther away from us than the stuff there. But let's take a look at some other people's cool backyards. Here are a bunch of different ways you could do your design. Each one's got a different feature. Some have pathways, some have vegetable gardens, some have a swing set, some have a pool, some have a bird feeder, patios. So this can give you an idea of some of the options of the things you can put in your dream backyard. And you can tell the plants, the different types of plants, they're not just all one plant or all different types of trees too. Now when we go over here, this is a very boring backyard, right? We could put all kinds of flowers and all kinds of things. There's this one sad little lonely slide there, and that's all that's there. And when we look down at this one, look at all the potential this yard has. All that room, and there's just a sad little lawn there. Whereas when we go next door, maybe this house is even really next door. Look what these people have done. So we've got hedges. We've got plants planted inside of the hedges. We have tall plants that look, this is lemongrass. Then we have smaller plants with flowers on them. Look what they even did on their garage. They put plants growing on the side of their garage. So there's so much you can do with your backyard. Look at all these trees that they put in there. They cut them to kind of all look the same. It cuts down on the noise, and it also gets lots of oxygen into their yard. Here's another version. Now these are all roses, but you can see they got the yard, so we're not giving up our yard, but we have all these beautiful plants in here too. And there's one more thing you can put in your garden, vegetables. What could be better than going out into your own backyard and picking your lettuce and your tomatoes and coming back inside, rinsing them off and eating them. So these are some of their options. Let's take another look at my drawing. Now, I have two big trees that I put in the corner. Trees are important for shade, but they come in all different kinds of sizes. You could put a pine tree in there if you'd like. I have my fence that goes around. And this is a trapezoid. I'm going to show you, trapezoids are very useful in drawing. My vegetable box is a trapezoid. A trapezoid is a square where this side is shorter than that side. So it kind of looks like this. This shape comes up in drawing rooms a lot. I put my pathway in. I want you to notice this pathway is farther away from me, and look how skinny. When it comes close to me like that, it's getting fatter. I did the same thing with the flowers on the bushes that are farther away. They're smaller, but as my flowers come closer to me, they get a little bit bigger. Now, I'm going to show you step by step how to draw your vegetable garden or any other kind of box. Our first step is to draw just a regular trapezoid. You probably see it in your shapes in school. The second step is we're going to draw a little line here and a little line here, and then when I connect those lines, look what I've made. This could be a book, this can be a bed, this can be part of a couch. So when you learn how to draw this, you've really learned how to draw a lot of different types of things. But today, it's a vegetable garden. So now I'm going to draw a little line down from that corner and a little line down from that corner. And I think you can probably tell where we're headed with this. Now I'm going to draw a line here, here, and here. And look, I've created this kind of empty box that is now filled with soil that I'm going to plant. Let's start our drawing. As many of you remember, every time you do a landscape, the most important part of your landscape is the horizon line. I'm going to draw lightly because I have some things going in front of it. So my horizon line is going to be high, and it's just some rolling hills. So there's my horizon line. Now the next big thing I've got to put in is my backyard. So we start with a line here, and now I'm going to kick it out this side like that. I'm going to take this one, and I'm going to draw it out at an angle like that. Now, maybe some of this looks familiar from when we did our bed. You remember when we put these lines in? So there we go. Now we're almost done with our fence. I need a line that comes this way. I need a line that goes across this way. And I need a line that comes down that way. This is our fence. Now all the fun begins. All the cool stuff we're going to fill into our garden. So remember what I said about trees? So let's put a couple of trees in here. Now remember, V's are a big thing with trees. V rhymes with tree. So remember your V's. V, V, V. And now this is all the leaves that go around. Let me try to chop off our limbs there so it shows that the leaves are covering. But if you wanted to do, and don't forget, you need to put the bottom in. Now if you want to put a pine tree in, remember those are easy. Those are just the shape of a triangle. And because they have different limbs that come out, kind of do it like this, and then it needs a trunk. There we go. I have one regular tree and one pine tree. Now I'm going to put my vegetable box in. So remember, we're going to draw another trapezoid. So line there, line that comes out like this, and then a line that goes across. Here's our regular trapezoid. That was our first step. Line down here, go across. Now we've made something that looks like a book. Well, we got to show that there's something inside, that it's kind of an almost empty box. So I put those two lines there. The soil is bumpy, so that line doesn't need to be straight. There you go. Now I'm just going to fill it with some lettuce. Lettuce is just like a round shape. We'll put some irregular round shapes around it. Maybe I want to have some beets in there. So beets have this type of leaf. And I love corn, so I'm going to put some big, tall corn shoots coming up for the rest of my vegetables. And there's a board here, usually. All right, there's our vegetable garden. Now I'm going to put in our bird bath next. Now, a bird bath, we all know is round, but when we're looking at it from that angle, it's an oval, or else the water would all fall out. And I put a big smile under my oval, right? And now we're on a pedestal. And this is for the birdies to cool off in. I'm going to put a little pathway around my thing, but I want it to be a little fun, so I'm going to have it go a little wiggly. So now that's my main line. I have to follow it with another line. Remember what I said about how our pathway gets skinnier as it travels away from us. And then look, it's getting fatter and fatter as it comes toward us. Now we could make that brick if we wanted to by doing something like this. See how that starts to look like brick? You just draw lines across, and then you get these little shorter lines in there to show the little short bricks. Or we could do stone. And stone, you just make little circles that kind of fit next to each other like that, like you're making a stone wall. So those are your two options on how to draw that, or it can just be a regular gravel. And you can just maybe put some texture in here. And maybe it's just a gravel walkway. Maybe there's no bricks or stone there at all. It's just a gravel walkway. And that'll show us that it's gravel. Okay, now here come our bushes. Bushes are underrated. Bushes come in all kinds of shapes. They have flowers. They're big, they're small. Some are tall and skinny, some are low and fat. So an easy way for me to do this whole line, but I'm just going to have kind of some of the same bush in here. And I'm just making a bumpy line, right? Kind of looks like the top of a cloud in a way. And then down here, I'm doing the same thing. I'm coming down and just making a bumpy line. And now here's our one row of bushes. If I want to put flowers in, remember they're bigger here, and when they're up here, they're tiny. And then as they come closer to us, they get bigger. And we're going to put one on the other side. So remember what I said, just kind of like bumpy, bumpy lines. But you guys saw all those plants. You guys got 1,000 options for your plants. Maybe you want a cactus garden. In fact, I'm going to show you how to draw a cactus. All right, so here's our second row of bushes. Throw some flowers in there. Alrighty, now let's see if we wanted a cactus. Cactus have come a bunch of different ways. You can just do a cactus like this, right? Put the little cactus thing, those guys got little ridges on them like that. And then of course there's this cactus that everyone knows. It's the one that we see in cowboy movies. There we go. There's that cactus. And there's one more cactus I'm going to show you how to draw. It's called a barrel cactus. Really big, goes like that. And then all these lines come down like this. And there's flowers all over it. Cactus bloom. Don't overlook the cactus in your nursery. They can be gorgeous. Now we're going to put a little bit of a brick, little border here so our cactus stay put and all their little needles stay put. There we go. And maybe I want some flowers around my trees, so I'm just going to put some little things that indicate a flower here. Okay, and maybe one on here. Remember, this is kind of symmetrical, right? What's on one side is on the other. We're just going to finish up a couple more flowers. All right, so now the last thing we're going to do is put in the texture of our fence, and I'm just going to put a wood fence. So I'm putting all these lines that are parallel. That means that they go side by side like railroad tracks. So I'm putting in all of my boards. Here I'm going these boards. I want you to notice how as I come to the edge of the paper, the boards are getting wider. That's because things that are far away from us are smaller than the things that are close to us. All right, there's only one more detail we need on our fence. Our fence is not made of a piece of paper. So we are going to take and we're going to draw a second line on top of our fence so that our fence appears to be made out of wood, because that's what this fence is really made out of. All right. Now, obviously, the other drawing's got way more flowers and stuff in it, but I want you to explore all of the options. Backyard gardens are beautiful. They're a sanctuary. I have a really big garden with all kinds of plants growing in my garden, and I often go there just to be quiet and hear the birds. So here is the upgrade in case you have some paint. So what I've done is I've outlined everything in black oil pastel. You can also use a crayon, and I went in and painted it. But maybe you can tell that there are different greens. There are thousands of greens in this world. Add blue to your green, add yellow to your green, and here's one, add orange to your green. If you add orange to your green, you get this cool kind of army green color. So, and this is just a regular green. So explore your greens, and you can see how much better a garden looks when it's got color added to it. Well, that was fun. I hope you enjoyed our class today, and truly, spend time in your own back garden. It's a really beautiful, peaceful place, and I hope you have one that you can go to. Thanks for joining us today at the Canoga Park Youth Arts Center series, Inspired by Spring. We'll see you again.